All right, so this video is for all the agency owners who are getting frustrated that the cold outreach isn't working for them, and they feel like whatever strategy they try, they just aren't getting the right number of clients, or even more importantly, like the right type of clients. You know, a lot of agency owners, it's just kind of like a hamster wheel of like getting a client, signing a client, getting a client, not being able to get results for a client. And it just sucks. And a lot of the time, it's not necessarily your fault as the agency owner. Sometimes it is. Well, it is your fault because you're signing the clients to begin with, even though they aren't good clients. You know, it's like if you're an e-com agency and you're working with e-commerce businesses, like doing less than 20 grand a month in revenue, like shame on you for signing the client. Those clients are the easiest to get, but they are worst to work with. Or like in my space, if you run like an info product agency, it's like working with like an online course creator and you're trying to monetize the audience, but they have less than 10,000 Instagram followers, right? Like it sucks and it's not a good place to be in. But a lot of the time when we do our outreach, these are the only clients that we can sign. They're the only ones that are booking in on our Calendly. And you've got the qualification questions and it's like, how much revenue doing a month? And it's like less than 20K. You're like, great. Well, they're not going to pay me a 5K per month retainer, are they? If they're only doing 20K. Because if that is you and what I just said there resonated with you, then this is why. It's because your approach to signing clients is wrong. Now, this is going to go against a lot of what is taught in the agency space. But typically, what is being pushed a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, is you just need to do more. You need to do more volume. You need to send more DMs, more cold emails, and just the law of numbers, I don't know what the law would be, is you're eventually going to sign a client. And they're not wrong when they say that. But what type of client are you signing? Most of the time, it's not a very good one. So another thing that is pushed a lot of the time is like, you just need to be direct with your offer to get them to respond. So that's, you know, that combined with like, you know, the whole guarantee movement that everyone is pushing. So you have to have a guarantee, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, a lot of what is taught is like, put your guarantee in the first message. You know, I get hundreds of messages on Twitter from people being like, I'll help you get this result in this time frame or you don't pay, blah, 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 right? And they're just spamming hundreds of messages, just hoping they wake up one day and they've got a reply, or they've got a Calendly event booked in. But you've got to think about, if you're doing that type of outreach, what type of client is that attracting, right? If you're leading with guarantees, then you are attracting desperate clients, people who are desperate for a result, people who are desperate for a solution. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's good. I want to target the people who are desperate for my solution because they're the most people likely to buy. And what I say to that is, do it yourself and done with you. Yes, you want to target anyone who is desperate to buy. Done for you services? Absolutely fucking not. Because the businesses that are desperate for your solution are usually the businesses who are most unqualified. So for example, I run advertising for clients and we help them generate clients, right? The clients that are desperate for clients are the businesses with no clients. And I don't want to work with them because they've got a lot of shit that they need to work through and a lot of improvements to make to their business before it's going to make any form of sense for us to work together. So what I always say is, as an agency, we don't build businesses, we scale them, right? So for me, if I do outreach and I'm just like, we guarantee you 20 clients in the next 30 days or your money back, I'm going to attract the people that can't get 20 clients. I'm going to attract people who are impressed by 20 clients a month. Now, guess what? My ideal clients, they would be shaking. They would be distraught if they could only get 20 clients in a month. They're doing much bigger numbers than that. So the people that you want to work with as a service provider are people who would make money with or without you. Again, agencies, we just scale. We don't build. But that's the problem, is that the way you're doing the outreach and the messaging is attracting the wrong people, right? The people who are broke are going to be attracted to a guarantee because it means less risk. The advanced business owners that you probably want as a client, they're business owners. They're successful. They've already taken a lot of risks. They understand risk. They understand investing in something and potentially not making the money back. They understand that it takes multiple things for an investment to work, so the agency and for them to work as well. But when you just lead with guarantees or like you pay per result, or you lead with, hey, you only pay me a profit split afterwards, you are attracting the people that don't have the money to pay or don't have the money to potentially lose. You want to work with, if you're an advertising agency, you want to work with a client where you could spend 50K and okay, if you lost 50K, you'd probably get fired, and so you should, but it wouldn't bankrupt the business. Most of the clients that you guys are working with right now, they would go bankrupt if you lost 50K for them. So you really have to change your messaging. Now, there is one thing I would say here, is that if you don't have much criteria for you to be able to provide your service, then you can probably disregard this video. So for example, if you work with chiropractors and you do lead gen for chiropractors, and you can work with a small ad budget and your only real criteria is that they have like a physical practice in a local area and they pick up the phone, then you can probably do that more scattergun, lead with guarantees volume approach, because you don't have too much criteria to like, you don't need the high value people. You can pretty much serve 100% of chiropractors if they have a location and a telephone. Whereas like in my space, the info product space, I only want to work with like the top 1%. But guess what? The top 1% aren't responding to cold emails with guarantees in them because they've heard it all before. So that is like one nuance to it. Same with like e-com, right? You don't want to work with an e-com business that's doing 20K a month in rev because the profit is going to be nothing. So you need to aim for a lot more, right? So what I always say is that you need to shift from volume to personalization. I've put here, high value clients aren't desperate. So they aren't going to like gamble on a random person that has cold emailed them. They have the money to pay you, but their time is more important than the money they could potentially lose. And what I mean by that is like, if you're a random person who's emailed them being like, hey, I can make you money, you've got no relationship, no trust built, you're a complete stranger, then they don't know in that like the time they would spend to talk to you, hire you, get onboarded by you, work with you, and for it to potentially work or not. Like it doesn't matter if you give them their money back. They aren't asked about the money, they're bothered about the time. Because someone who is an experienced, successful business owner, their time is more valuable than money. Whereas the beginner business owner or the broke business owner, their money is more valuable than the time. So you can see there, that's why the broke people are responsive to guarantees around money, because the advanced business owner doesn't care for that. They're willing to invest, but they're just not willing to waste the time. So with these types of businesses that you want to work with, you need a lot of trust with them for them to say yes. And it's very difficult to do that in like a super direct, well, it's not even direct response, like just a super cold email blast where it's like, reply yes, and I'll shoot over a calendar link, something like that. So what you need to do is you need to show them that you are good at what you do. So you need to create trust that you're good at what you do. You need to show trust that you understand their specific business. And you need to show trust or create trust that you care. And then you also need to create trust that you can help them specifically. So I'll say that again. So you need to create trust that you're good at what you do. You need to create trust that you understand their specific business. You need to create trust that you care about them. And you need to create trust that you can help them specifically. So, for example, when I started doing outreach, I was doing a lot of personalized outreach. So, for example, I would get a list of like the top, kind of like the Dream 100 of Russell Brunson. I'd get a list of the top 100 people in the niche that I was going after. And I personally messaged them on all platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, email, and then if it was relevant, LinkedIn or Twitter, but mainly those 3 platforms. And I would send them a Loom video made specifically for them, not using the shitty automation software that, shows no personalization. But I used to film a 5 to 10 minute Loom for every single client that I wanted to sign. Did some of them not respond? Yeah, most of them didn't. Did I sign some of them? Yes. Were those clients ideal clients? Yes, they were perfect clients. And for some of them, I'm still working for them to this day. One of the clients that I worked with because I outreached into this way, this month or last week, they wired us $35K for one basically project worth of work, which lasted, just over a month. They're the type of clients I want to work with. And that was minuscule in comparison to, what we made them. My retainer from these clients, and again, look, I don't want to overhype anything. I've said this in a previous video. I don't get paid that much by every single client every single month. That client doesn't pay me that every single month. That was the best month, but it did so happen to be last week where they paid us that. But anyway, regardless, that retainer or that month's worth of work alone is more than some of your clients' revenue. And one of my clients paid me that just as a fee. So my point is that even though it sucks a little bit, you need to do more personalization than volume if you really want to work with the top tier clients and you have certain criteria. Because also just life's better that way. It's so much better to work with good clients. Life's easier, the work's easier, you make them more money, you get paid more money, your team are happy. Because what happens when you work with crappy clients is that you get disheartened because every client that you sign, they leave 2 to 3 months later. You get demotivated, your team get demotivated, the whole culture and energy around the company is just down to the ground. It has a lot bigger effect than just not getting the client results. It has a huge impact on your entire company. But anyway, just one of those clients that I started sending personalized outreach to in the Loom video, I had to, number one, show that I was good at what I did, right? So I showcased results of the results that I was able to create for other businesses. Then I needed to create trust that I understand their specific business. So I also showed results in their industry, specifically for some of their competitors. So people who sell the same stuff as them. I showed them that I'd worked for people similar. But I also provided insight about their customer. So for example, in the video, when I was mentioning specific things that we could do for them, I said, hey, look, I know your type of customer. They like this, they dislike this. This is why we do this. And for me specifically, it was around the type of language that we use in our marketing, because the niche that I go after, or my client's niche, they're not super responsive to super salesy direct response stuff. They're a bit sensitive to that type of language. And I let him know I understood that in the video. So he's like, shit, this guy gets it. Because I know for my ideal client, one of the biggest objections to working with agencies is that agencies kind of like do super direct response, push for the sale, push for sales over everything. And I know my client doesn't like that. So I showed understanding of them as well. I showed that I care. I created trust and showed that I cared by sending them a personal Loom video, right? And then I created trust that I could help them specifically because in the Loom video, I outlined a personal plan for their business and their specific products and offer. I would actually mention them in the video and explain what I feel like would be the best way to, get more sales, scale the company, even like new offers they could add in if relevant. And again, that was personal for each person I reached out to. Now, it's not sexy. It's going to take a little bit of work. I used to fucking dread it. Like I used to have a VA that would help me. There's criteria that I needed for them to get on the list, right? In terms of like followers and products that they were selling. So I used to dread it because I had a VA helping me. And I used to look in like ClickUp and I'd have like 5 fucking Loom videos that I needed to send. And it would get to like 3, 4 p.m. And I'm like, oh, I just can't keep putting it off any longer. And I used to hate filming them. But they did work and they made me a load of money. And at the end of the day, like if you're struggling to get clients or you're struggling working with the wrong type of clients, I assume you want to make money. And that shit makes money. Again, if you have a super productized service that you can sell to the masses, like a do-it-yourself, done with you, or even if you've got like a done-for-you service that you can kind of productize and it doesn't really matter how big or successful the business is, then fucking go nuts. Go and, hammer instantly in domains and start sending out thousands of emails a day. But I just know from the type of business that I want to build or I have built, less clients, bigger retainers, bigger profit share, work with bigger clients, then that just didn't work for me, honestly. Maybe I'm not very good at, creating lemless campaigns. I don't know. But the personalized outreach worked for me, but people don't like to do it because it takes time and it's slow. And it can be disheartening when you spend, 10 minutes filming one specific Loom video, you send it and it never gets even read, never mind watched. And you've got to do that maybe 20 times before you get someone to see a message. And then you've got to send it like another 20 times for someone to like watch it and respond. And then you've got to spend it another 20 times for someone to actually get on a call. But then, you might sign a client from it. But most people send like 10 to 20 Loom videos. They don't get a response and then they give up. Because you actually get more dopamine by doing the cold outreach. Because if you do cold outreach, and you will get responses because you're getting responses from the desperate clients. But the dopamine that sets off of seeing the response to the campaign or seeing a Calendly call booked or getting on a sales call, that tricks you into thinking you're building momentum. Even if you know that it's not the right type of client, in your mind, you're like, I'm going to get a good client soon. There's going to be a good client soon. There's going to be a good client soon. But they never fucking come. Right? Our best clients have come from, in the beginning, personalized cold outreach, and then after a while, just referrals and stuff. But yeah, it sucks. It's not fun. I don't know anyone who enjoys filming Loom videos and doing personalized outreach and not getting responses. But it makes you money, so we do it anyway. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.